Welcome to another segment of ACRP TV. Today, our spotlight is on the financials of running a clinical trial and the exciting career opportunities there. We've got Mary Veazie with us, who's the Executive Director, Clinical Research Finance at the UTMD Anderson Cancer Center. Mary, I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me.
And I love this backdrop. I feel like we're sitting there together. This is great.
Absolutely.
So let's jump right in there. I know you're an excited proponent of this aspect of clinical trials. There is, as you know, as well as I do, or perhaps better, there's a shortage across the spectrum in the clinical trial workforce, but perhaps nowhere is that more acute than on the financial side. So talk a little bit about that challenge we face right now.
Sure. The finance side is unique. We actually bridge the revenue cycle. We really focus on incorporating clinical research into clinical operations, and thereby, in that billing side. So it's a unique skill set that many individuals who are either graduating from college or, getting it after they have that graduate degree, just really don't realize that this profession exists, simply because it's not really advertised. There's not a lot of webinars or educational sessions around this aspect of it. So it's more of on-the-job training, which requires an individual to really absorb not only the regulations associated with our clinical research finance, those insurance policies and procedures, and how do you bill for insurance associated with the clinical trial, understanding that entire spectrum from the actual activation of a trial all the way down to the termination of it. So it's really a very unique skill set that individuals don't realize it's there. There's not a lot of education that's been forth, like I said, been focused on it. But more importantly, it's individuals it takes them a while to begin to understand how to really incorporate clinical trials into clinical operations. For example, at our organization, it takes us anywhere between 3 months to 9 months, depending on the experience of the individual coming in, to actually fully get trained where they're making a good impact on our business operations and that workload associated with the trials. And this is really associated with that coverage analysis build. And so that coverage analysis build is really just taking the study documents, the scheduled events within those study documents, and making it into an actual financial document. In order to do that, you have to understand how clinical operations work. You also have to understand those regulations associated with billing, especially the Medicare regulations associated with clinical trial billings. And just to get individuals acclimated to that, it just takes some time. And so one of my passions is to truly try to get the word out there about the profession, but also about the need to bolster up that education for individuals who may be interested in this space.
Now, you're obviously very enthusiastic about this as a career path. It's common sense to say it's only right for certain types of people with a certain skill set and the ability to learn. I know that some people can adapt to this. Some people, I'm not really a numbers guy. You probably wouldn't want me working for you, but there are other people out there who probably don't even know they would be good at this. Talk about, from your own perspective, why you think this is such an exciting and inviting potential career track for someone.
Sure. I'll just speak from my experience. I am a certified public accountant, but I quickly realized I didn't want to do I didn't want to do public accounting every day because it's so regimented. You have to turn in timesheets. You have to really account for every hour that you're working on. I like having rules and regulations. I love knowing where my boundaries are, which clinical research gives me. It tells me where my boundaries are based on those regulations. But the big thing that it allows me to do is really dive deep into a protocol and understand what's in a clinical researcher's mind around how they can maybe cure cancer, because my focus is really oncology. So what are their thoughts around curing this dreadful disease? And just seeing the innovation and the thoughts that they have around this, and helping them bring this to life to help treat our patients better and help hopefully find a cure is one of my passions. And one thing I love is that I learn something new every single day. I've been doing this 15 years and I'm still learning. I'm still understanding more and more and more as the technology evolves, as science evolves. I get to evolve with it because I'm on the cutting edge of it. So it's really a fun experience, and I really enjoy the job. But one thing I have to say about individuals who may not realize that they would like this space, we actually hire MDs from foreign countries who don't necessarily want to come to the United States and have a career as a medical provider. They want to just maybe be involved in clinical research, do some data analysis. We actually hire a lot of those. So a lot of our individuals are, like I said, MDs from foreign countries, research nurses who just decided they don't want to be in patient facing anymore. They kind of want to be behind the scenes and help support that role. We hire study coordinators as well. These folks really help us develop those coverage analysis. Then on the budgeting side, we actually have more of an accounting facing person because because of the numbers and the accountability that needs to be there. And so that finance side really comes into play there. So we hire some accountants for the budgeting side. And then when we get to the actual segregation of charges and looking at the actual billing associated with our clinical trials, we hire coders, we hire people that are versed in the revenue cycle. So it's a wide range of individuals that we actually hire and train for this type of profession. So it's fun. It's something you learn like I said, you learn every day, and you get to evolve with the science.
Very exciting. I think, and your enthusiasm comes through. Hopefully segments like this will help to inspire people and broaden awareness of this as a wonderful opportunity in the clinical research space. This has been our ACRP TV Spotlight on the financials of running a clinical trial and career aspects. We've been speaking with a very successful person in this, Mary Veazie, who's the Executive Director, Clinical Research Finance at the UTMD Anderson Cancer Center. Mary, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you again, Michael, for having me. I appreciate it.